Sam Hamm and Joe Quinones continue their foray into the Burtonverse as Batman reels from an accidental death, deciding the best way to combat the crime and inequity gripping Gotham City is not as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne. Sam Hamm continues his really interesting direction with the Burtonverse version of Batman, tapping into some very contemporary problems for Batman to deal with, such as cops who overstep their boundaries and inequity. I really enjoyed his focus on Harvey Dent this issue and his ties with Burnside and the community there, having to navigate his old neighborhood, but one that is trying to kind of somewhat alienate him thanks to his career path as a DA, seeing him not as one of them anymore and one of the other rich people and elite who keep putting them down, and he's got to kind of earn his way back. It's a very unique and creative way to take Harvey Dent, and that's not the only change we find this issue, as we finally get an introduction to Robin, who isn't Tim Drake or Dick Grayson, but a new character named Richard Drake, making him sort of a combo of Tim and Dick. Not just in namesake, but also in fighting skill and technical know-how. He's kind of like the best of both worlds there. His connection or disconnection from Batman is what really intrigues me, since he doesn't worship the hero at all or anything like that, and kind of is his own vigilante in a way, and isn't doing this just because Batman's doing it. So I'm looking forward to them eventually meeting and learning a bit more about Richard. Joe Quinones again does some really fantastic artwork, blending Burtonverse aesthetics with his own original creations for the universe, like his Robin design and his also, surprisingly enough, an updated Catwoman design, which is a great combo of the Returns costume that was all sort of stapled together with the 60s era costumes and stuff like that, with the kind of gold belt that she had in the Adam West era of Batman. Batman 89 issue 2 was a great swerve in storytelling that explored Harvey Dent's character and shifted focus over towards a community in need and how a masked hero isn't always the solution to all crime and problems. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Batman 89 issue 2 finds Batman escape from the National Guard with a flashbang, but during his escape up the roof, the man he was after is shot by the police accidentally and falls from the balcony, leaving the baby he was looking after an orphan. Later on, Alfred finds the defeated Bruce in the Batcave, telling his faithful friend that he really screwed up. Harvey and Barbara meanwhile test out one of Batman's boomerangs the police confiscated, which hits Dent in the arm thanks to Barb programming it to do so. Harvey wants to do a pattern search on the device to see who owns it, but Barb already did that and it came back with nothing. Harvey gets ready to leave, knowing that whomever built the $1 million boomerang and tech doesn't need millions, since they already have millions. He tells Barb that they need to go to Burnside, as outside Jerome's shop, people are protesting thanks to the death of the man from the night before. Jerome goes to see Drake, one of his very hard workers who is using the internet to source some car parts for them, knowing garages around the country should go online and set up online shopping, as Jerome knows that's actually a very good idea. Harvey comes by to see Drake about some car parts, knowing the kid knows his stuff and he wants him to look at some pictures about some exotic models the police have confiscated. Drake refuses to help, since despite Harvey being a nice cop, he's still a cop. Jerome assembles the council of the community and the meeting about the man who was killed the night before. Harvey says that he wants them to protest, but do it peacefully with no violence, since the federal cops are looking for any chance to unleash their hounds. One of the men says that when Dent riles people up like he did the other night, it's not him or the white donors who suffer, it's them in Burnside. Dent wants to help however he can, as later the protest is addressed by Dent and the others, but Drake doesn't care what Dent has to say, heading home as he sees a gang that represents Batman try and rob a store for a game station. Suddenly the men are attacked by a cloaked being, and the gang try to warn the man that they are Batmen, but the man says that Batman never meant jack to him. Some onlookers come by, and the Batman gang try and lie and say the cloaked being was robbing the store, but the man wants him to repeat the words, getting him to repeat that he was robbing the store. The being tells the onlookers to turn them into the cops or leave them in a dumpster around the corner. As the men are carted off, some kids think the hooded man was called Robin, like Robin Hood. At Wayne Manor, Alfred accepts delivery of a giant penny, one he finds Bruce bought. Bruce meanwhile trains while listening to the attack the cloaked man conducted the night before and how vigilantes are gripping the city and it's some sort of psychological deficiency. Bruce asks the TV to be muted, angered that anyone would ever believe that, as he tells the arriving Alfred that the coin is to brighten up the Batcave. Alfred reminds him of the priceless art he has in storage, but Bruce wants the coin there since it saved his life, snapping at his friend, but he quickly apologizes, saying that that he was bored that night and chased that man who was trying to just feed a little girl, and he got ambushed by this ghost, and it was like being attacked by himself. He knows there's no way he can make that man's death right, as Alfred tells him his self-imposed hiatus isn't helping his disposition, and he could always turn towards philanthropy. Out in the city, Harvey and Barb talk about Harvey getting lots of news coverage thanks to his speech, but Harvey cites how when he was talking with his people, he felt like he was back home and one of them. Soon the press come to hound Dent again and ask him questions, but someone calls him a two-faced bastard. That someone was Harvey Bullock, who was angry what Dent did by betraying their code and paying them back in equality and two-tiered justice. The press continue to ask their questions as Harvey and Barb go inside, where Harvey finds Bruce waiting for him, knowing that he's got a crazy idea. Elsewhere, the Batmen intend on doing something about the kid who beat them up, which is lucky since one of them followed him back home to the garage and knows where he lives. Bruce and Harvey meanwhile go to Burnside, telling the council that Bruce will stake every child of school age in Burnside 4 years of Gotham State University, or a trade or tech school of their choice, if they want it. Bruce knows he'll keep doing it until he's out of money, which he knows won't be for a while. They ask why Bruce is interested in Burnside, and he mentions Harvey's speech spoke to him, and he knows about the little girl who was left an orphan from gun violence, just like he was. Many of the others know what that's like, and they know fixing it with money won't help, but Bruce knows systemic problems like this will take generations to fix, but there are some problems he can fix with his money now. Drake hears him, not caring for Bruce's charity, as the others want to think on Bruce's offer. After Bruce leaves, the others think that there has to be some type of angle there, thinking that he maybe owns the trade schools or something. Harvey believes in Bruce and thinks they are overthinking it a bit too much, as he goes to meet with Barbara and Bruce arrives at his car. Both of them hear a crash, seeing the garage on fire. Donning a mask and grabbing some of his batarangs from his car, Bruce rounds the corner to find Catwoman has taken down the Batmen, the ones who set the fire, saying that she was following Bruce, and before he rushes off to fight those fires, she wants a kiss. Harvey and Barb meanwhile see the fires and rush back as Jerome says that Drake is still inside. Harvey, without thinking about it, rushes inside, calling the boy's name amongst the flames. The cars in the garage blow up and Harvey falls into the floor, knocked out as some destroyed car batteries begin leaking their burning, boiling acid down towards his face.